Bradford and I, we met in 2018 at Pepperdine University at the Psi Upsilon chapter there. We realized pretty early on that we had a lot of stuff in common, and especially when it came to traveling and adventuring and that sorts. And so it didn't take long for us to, be coming up with ideas of something we wanted to incorporate, of something we were very passionate about that we wanted others to partake in. And so with that, we decided we wanted to essentially create something that we hadn't totally seen before, which was an adventurous nonprofit. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, we'll just talk a little bit more about ourselves here. Bradford, you can take it away.
Yeah, sure. Like Will said, we met through Psi Upsilon. Without Psi Upsilon, this project would not have ever happened because we never would have met. But it's not just that we wouldn't have met, but also a lot of what we learned and experienced together inside you really, I think, paved the way towards us having the courage to do more adventurous things. The experiences we had in Pledge. I remember Will and I recently, after we finished pledging, uh, we organized a trip to go up to Oregon with some of our Pledge brothers, new Psi Upsilon brothers, and everything in that trip that we had planned to do did not go according to plan at all. There was a once in a generation blizzard up there. We got stranded in the snow. Our car got stuck. We were told we wouldn't be able to go back home in time to make it for classes. Uh, and so we'd spent all this time planning, and we found out pretty quickly that nothing would go according to plan, and we ended up having the best time of our lives. Uh, and so it taught us a really important lesson just through SciU of if you've got good people and if you've got confidence and if you have a vision, then you can go out and go on an adventure independently. And even if there's no set plan, as long as you are moving forward and overcoming obstacles, then you'll learn a lot from it. And that's really what it's all about. And so that's a lot of how we structured the program coming out of college. A little bit of my backstory. I think that travel is one of the best possible ways for someone to learn and get an education because you can learn so much about yourself and the world through a very condensed amount of time. It's not like a whole semester, it can be, but it can also be 5 weeks where you're really pushing the limits and interacting with people from all these different perspectives. And as a result, you get to form your own perspective. Uh, when I was in high school, I received a travel grant from an anonymous donor to go out to Nicaragua and Cuba and learn Spanish. And so I stayed with a host family there for a month. And that experience really blew my mind and planted a seed that I wanted to one day try and help give that to other people because it totally changed my life. And you can see on this slide that's young Bradford on the left. I was 16 years old with my host brother Oliver in Managua, Nicaragua. And that was a life changing trip because I went to another part of the world that no one in my community knew about. Uh, but I was accepted down there, and I was largely on my own too, which at 16 was a big deal. It really felt like a coming of age situation for me. Uh, as life went on, I continued to keep traveling. I got my Eagle Scout coming out of high school, which made me feel comfortable with backpacking as a way to get around and really be immersed in an environment. And so I started doing that and finding out, hey, you can travel around the world for a lot cheaper than most people realize, as long as you're willing to rough it a little bit. Uh, and that opens up a lot of doors. And so that's a little bit of backstory with me. I've since been to 37 countries, mostly backpacking,
Oh, wow.
and eating rice and beans, whatever to scrape by. Some study abroad, some working experiences, but that's the foundation that I really share with Will and really help pave the way and inspire the Usoa project.
That's
Awesome.
wonderful.
Thank you for sharing, Bradford.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I could not have asked for a better partner in this endeavor of creating such a nonprofit as we are. Um, a little bit about myself was like Bradford, I did grow up traveling actually a decent amount, but I never fully did a lot of solo traveling or backpacking per se until about a year and a half ago. Actually, it was right after I graduated college. I wanted to backpack Thailand. I just wanted to do something completely random and different and get out of my comfort zone and do something that I thought was like a real adventure. And and it was, and that one completely changed my life. And after a series of certain events, I the opportunity came up actually for me to walk the Camino de Santiago, as that was something that had always been on my mind, and I've always wanted to do. Heard about it from a young age, and so I was thinking, you know what? If I don't walk this now, I don't know when I will, and I don't want to miss out on this amazing opportunity. So in of April of 2024, I literally just packed my bags and set out and walked the Camino in southern France and northern Spain. And it was the most life changing trip of my life. I mean, started off in the Pyrenees Mountains here. Just go through it like briefly, and just saw like the most like stunning landscapes imaginable. And it was something really, really cool and fascinating to be able to just be in nature like this with other people that are also walking towards the same goal of this 500-mile like maximum like kind of like month-long trip that everyone's trying to do. People from all over the world are coming to walk on this trail specifically to get to a cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. So that was a huge deal for me, was to be part of this huge like kind of like almost mini movement out here. And again, just a very beautiful area. Like gave me a lot of time to think and gave me a lot of time to reflect on what I wanted in my life and what I wanted to do. Um, Not just through like countrysides, but we also got to walk through villages as well, and places that were huge and sprawling towns, as well as just the tiniest like most remote villages. You really do learn a lot from being out there, and you learn a lot especially from doing something super consistently after for a long period of time, not just like a week long vacation. This was life changing for a lot of reasons like that, and it was a trip like this that actually made me think a lot about what I want to do with my life, as well as what I think I'd like to see with others as well. And so I literally, it's funny. I remember texting Bradford halfway on my trip of telling him like, hey, like I have this crazy idea, and he's like, what are you talking about? What is it? And I was just like, I'd love to like, I don't know, like I think I would love to like help like start a charity or something like that to get Americans like out on this trail, because that's just something not a lot of people seem to know about. And he was like, "Let's do it! Like, absolutely! Like, we have to do something like that." And so it was that we wanted to create United States of Adventure. And Bradford, you can take it away from here about what we really are about.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the birth of it. Those were the seeds that were planted, and we started looking into more of the global situation of Americans and how many travel. If many people know about travel as an educational opportunity, why are people afraid to travel? Certain questions like this, and we realized that 38% of Americans have never owned a passport. Uh, and that was pretty eye opening. And that means that these are American citizens who have not left the United States to go see any part of the world. And so we decided, hey, that's a metric we can attack and
Hmm.
get that number. We can get that number down. If we have an impact, that's it, and that's something we can measure. We need more Americans who at least have a passport and have the ability to go travel. Uh, One other thing that prevents people from traveling, there's a fear of the unknown, but some more real barriers are financial. Uh, there is a big cost, even if you backpack and rough it like our adventurers did. There is still a cost of getting out there, and getting a flight out and taking care of yourself out there. And so we decided we were going to raise money to cover that, and at least have a key to unlock the door to get them out there, which is why our logo is the eagle carrying a key.
Yeah.
We won't go with them, on the journey, that's not our place. But if we can just craft the key to open the door, then that's our work. Uh, and we also think it's really important to give this opportunity to college students. Um, College students who have a summer, they haven't started working full time yet, and they're young. And like Will said, they're trying to figure out what they would like to do, and could really benefit from this as a life changing pivot point. And so that's why we really look at helping out 18 to 21-year-old college students who are a lot like us. And this year was especially just grateful to Psi U because each of our students that went out are Psi U's from around the country. And so that was even more rewarding to give back in that way. Uh, and so, yeah, that's exactly what our mission is. We want to encourage people to travel, get out, see the world, and learn about themselves. And we think too that if someone can go out and accomplish something like the Camino, that's takes so much persistence to go all the way through without quitting, then they'll emerge and come back as a leader that can change the community. They'll have the confidence in themselves that they can go out and do something on their own. So that's what we're all about.
Exactly. And again, like why the Camino? I mean, and it's not just we wanted to do this trek because it was something like I just did, and that's kind of, well, that is something that is part of our like mission of, we want to, if we're going to set out anybody to do something, we want it to be something that we have done personally ourselves, because we wouldn't want to send anybody to do something like that unless we had personally tested it ourselves. And what makes the Camino so amazing is that it really is like the perfect setting for first time adventurers. It's a long trek, but you have people from all over the world that are doing something like this. And you meet people from all different types of backgrounds, all different types of age ranges that are all coming and doing this similar thing. Like there is something absolutely beautiful about that. And it's not just physically challenging, but it's mentally rewarding. It has a spiritual pilgrimage aspect of it, that also touches the soul. It's another reason why to keep doing something like this. But the main thing too was it was an incredible vast lodging network that made this trip so important. That's what I was realizing when I was out there, was like I was like, you know what, anyone can really do something like this. Like it's incredibly well supported. You never feel like you're going to go somewhere and not meet, civilization, or not find a place to stay. And everyone out there is all on the same, kind of wavelength in terms of wanting to take care of each other and wanting to help support each other on this journey, because everyone's they're on this journey, but maybe at different parts of it. So it's very supportive in that sense. And you get to expose to so much culture of just Spain as well as others from around the world too in the same setting. It had so many great things going for it. So it was right then and there that Bradford and I were like, okay, if we're going to create something like this, then the Camino is a perfect one to start people off on. As you can see here, for those who aren't, totally aware of what the Camino is, or what exactly it looks like, it's a 500-mile trek that starts from southern France that pretty much goes all the way along northern Spain, crossing vast plains, mountains, all types of different climates. But it's an amazing journey because the whole goal is to get to Santiago de Compostela, which is a cathedral actually that has the tomb of the Saint James. And again, it's a very long program. A lot of people, they can start in Leon, they can start in Burgos, but as we found out, sometimes we think the best way to do it is from the very beginning, starting in Saint John Pied de Port, to have that long exposure to being in a certain area for so long, as that will have the most impact on the person being there. So that was our goal, and we are pleased to say that we were very happy with the results. We had sent out 3 adventurers to walk on the Camino de Santiago. Their names are right here: Henry Mulder, Summit Shaw, and Lane Robinson. They were our first guys essentially to do something like this, and they had complete faith in us, and we had complete faith in them, as we made sure that the people we were going to send out there were able to accomplish something like this. And we were very pleased with the results, as one thing that, they were doing each day, and I'm not even sure they knew exactly what it would, look like at the end, was a daily adventure tracker, which was, a daily journal entry that would discuss their findings, and have pictures of that day. Our goal was to try to, get like a journal that they knew would be something that showed their journey on this and how much they would change, as well as show what they've experienced. And so we felt like this was an amazing thing that we had to show the people of the progress of these candidates, and see the results. We assembled all of it together into an official trip report, which essentially kind of looks like a National Geographic magazine style, day by day, showcasing their journey. And again, each adventure had the same amount of time, 5 weeks, to complete this journey from start to finish. And we were pleased to say that all of them were able to make it and finish it on time. I'd like to open the floor now, actually, to Lane Robinson. I know we have him here. I was wondering if that would be possible. We could have him talk a little bit about his journey and hear what he has to say.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and Wayne, you are allowed to talk. I'm going to go ahead and set that for Henry and Summit as well. So if you unmute yourself, you should be able to speak to your journey.
Hey, Lane.
How's it going? Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you don't
All right,
mind, brother, start with chapter and year, and then mention where that chapter is for those in the audience that might not be up on their chapter roll.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Lane Robison, and I go to Michigan State University, where I'm in the Epsilon new chapter of Psi U, and I'm graduating in 2028.
Excellent.
So, I heard about this at one of our weekly chapter meetings last spring. I heard about United States of Adventure from our external vice president. And I just something stood out to it about me, and it seemed really cool. So I went and I checked out the application. I wrote my essay, and I was like, "There's no way like this will actually happen." And then I ended up being one of the ones that got accepted, and I just haven't looked back. Everything that I went through for that whole journey was like amazing, and I just have Will and Bradford to thank so much for that. So I went on the journey in late May, I think, and I flew into Paris, and then flew from Paris to Biarritz, France, and then started my first day in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, France. And overall, my journey took me 29 days to get to Santiago, and then I had some extra time because I finished early. So I went all the way to the Spanish coast, 3 more days to Finisterre. But yeah, over the whole trip, I met so many new people. I ate a ton of great food, discovered new areas, and just like kind of experienced so many cultures. And I feel like everything that I went through throughout my journey was just so invaluable, and it changed my life forever.
That's
Wonderful.
awesome to hear, Lane. That's yeah, that's exactly that's it. That's it.
Lane, can I ask a question too? And I'll ask this to the other guys also. But what was the part of your journey that was most challenging for you? All in all, looking back on it now that you've had some time to process it.
Um, Looking back on it, I would say it was probably the second week that I was hiking, so 2 out of 5 weeks, and I just had so many blisters on my feet and on my ankles, and they were hurting so bad, which I knew was gonna happen from what I'd read up on it and from what you guys had told me prior to my journey. But I had to go in my mind and like go beyond the physical sort of pain and just realize that, this is going to be so worth it. I'm going to be done walking soon. And it just takes another, like, it's so meaningful when you can get to that point and just kind of ignore all outside factors to get where you need to be. I think that's definitely something that was super difficult but meaningful in the long run for me.
Absolutely. And would you say now that, you've been back for some time, you still had your summer and now you're, in the middle of your fall semester of school. Would you say that you kind of see, a little bit life a little bit differently now, like your outlook has changed a bit, or you're now in like your school setting, like feeling like there's a little bit more to everything? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, it definitely changes your perspective after you walk the Camino, just because every single day I would have to wake up and I wouldn't have a choice to not walk to my next destination. Like you have to get there somehow, and the way to do it is to just start and to keep going and to not quit. And that's a definite and obvious metaphor for life too. So that's kind of what I think about it day to day, and but it's definitely changed my perspective like that a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you. Thank you so much, Lane, for sharing that. That's great to hear. And we wish you all the best with moving forward and hope the adventuring just never stops.
Thanks, Will.
All right. Well, then I guess kind of want to move on then to the next one, Summit. If you're able to hop in here too, would love to, yeah, hear your thoughts, inputs, anything you got to say.
Awesome. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, hey Summit.
Yeah.
What's up? Hi everyone. My name's Summit. I'm at the Phi chapter at the University of Michigan, and I'll be graduating in 2028. So yeah, kind of my backstory to finding the Camino. It was actually my spring break. I was on the beach in Florida, and I on the Psi Instagram it like popped up, and at this point in time, I was kind of lazy last year in my internship like search, and I was like, you know what, like I don't have anything going for me this summer. I was like, let's just do it, because I found out I knew about the Camino sort of originally. One of my good friends that did an exchange program, I'm from Indiana, um she told me all about it, and I was like, that's sick, but I was like, yeah, no, I'll never do it. So then flash forward, last March, I was like, you know what? I wrote my application during spring break, because I was like, I'm not gonna do it once I get back, and I was like, I'm just gonna apply, whatever. Ended up getting in it. It just kind of it changed my entire course of the summer. What like if I had stayed home the entire time, there's no way I would have been able to like gain what I'd gotten from it. And then a little bit into the trip itself. I kind of went in really blind, so I didn't do necessarily that much research. Bradford and Will, they gave us like a general overview, like this is you should plan your first day, like know what you're gonna say. I get there, I get on the wrong train. I'm on the wrong train for like an hour. I go in the completely wrong direction. Ended up having to pivoting everything, but then I was like, dang, off the get go, I was like, already learning to adapt, and I hadn't even been in a different country for like I'd been there for like 10 hours at that point. But yeah, I'll say in the beginning it was extremely difficult to be alone. Such a social person, and it kind of hit me on the first few hours I was walking. I was like, wow, I have not been alone with my thoughts, and I couldn't even remember when, because your freshman year of college, it was just constant simulation, one thing after the other, which kind of just led me to really get into a lot of like deep reflection, and it uncovered some stuff from like when I was a child. I was like, it was stuff I had never even gotten the time to think about, but it was really restorative. And I find myself now during classes, like I'm studying for an exam next week, and I'm like, dang, like for a month straight, my biggest problem was literally like, oh, where am I gonna walk tomorrow? Like, where am I gonna stay? What hostel am I gonna stay in? And it just is like, wow, like I kind of crave the feeling that I got from it every day. I try and look for parts of it, but dang, it's hard. It's different than being out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Wow.
Wow. No, that's awesome to hear as well. I mean, Yeah, that's it's kind of a metaphor for life in some ways of just, you think you have everything all planned out and then sometimes you just take the wrong train. But you're still able to, it's what you learn from that. It's still what you were able to learn from that of how to bounce back from something like that. And you still were able to complete the Camino in time, and you still were able to make the most of it. So that's really what counts.
Yeah.
In Summit, I'll say too, that feeling you describe about, coming back to class and you've got an exam and you're like, what does this all mean? It's so different, it is so different
Yeah.
than that lifestyle. And that's tough to adjust to. But there's always ways you can take that mentality and apply it towards, that situation. But
Oh,
like,
for sure.
but yeah, man, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Excellent.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much again for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear from you, man, and glad to hear that the program was indeed life-changing for you.
No, it was awesome. I'm planning when I graduate from Michigan, I think I'm gonna do the Portuguese route. A little less, but
Nice.
I'm ready. I'm doing it again. I'm gonna do it.
Let's go. That's what we want to
Nice. That's
hear.
awesome.
That's awesome. Sweet. Well, yeah, thanks again, Summit, for sharing. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we have Henry. Henry, please tell us, everybody here, your journey and what you learned from it all.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Henry. I'm also from the Phi chapter at University of Michigan, and I'm also going to graduate in 2028. I think a lot of, or like, the biggest reason I did the Camino was honestly because of Summit. I hadn't heard about it. I never knew what the Camino was. I honestly didn't even know it was like a Catholic, like, religious pilgrimage till I was on it. Um, and I don't know, last year I applied to like a ton of research and a ton of internships for the summer, and just like I kind of applied to the Camino as like a backup just in case I didn't get it. I didn't want to just be like at home all summer. And like the research and internships didn't work out, which I'm actually so thankful for, because yeah, honestly the Camino was definitely one of the toughest things I've done, but also like one of the best. And yeah, I think similar to Summit, I had a little bit of a rough start. It was just kind of I don't know, I had to get over that fear of like talking to new people in a like new country at first. I like didn't know what bus to take, but I was like too nervous to ask people, and just kind of getting over that fear. And then like the city that I arrived in first, Bayonne, there was like this massive festival. It's like the biggest one in France. And I think any other time I would have loved that. Like I was in Pamplona during the running of the bulls, and that was awesome. But I think just like my first day after, being jet lagged, being on a plane for like almost a day or whatever, it was a lot. And I think I was a little discouraged at first between being tired and yeah, I just didn't know anyone. I felt like I had this strict plan of what I was going to do, and day one, it kind of got messed up. So I was a little discouraged, but thankfully, like within a couple days, I met like an awesome group. And I don't know, I think going into the Camino, that wasn't my priority. Like meeting people is kind of like I kind of went in with this mindset that it was going to be more of like a physical challenge, and I was going to see how fast I could walk, and like more of a mental challenge, like personally, like by myself. And I think also I started walking in July, whereas Lane and Summit did it in September, or not September, in June, in like May and stuff. And so I was able to follow along on their journey, and they were already back by the time I started. So seeing that they completed it in like 28 days and stuff, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like follow them and like keep that pace. And I think just kind of a couple days in, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to. And I think that actually was perfect for me, because I was able to meet this awesome group, yeah, a couple days in, and we just stuck together honestly the whole time. And I'm still like insanely close with them. I actually just called like six of them last week, and we text and we keep up. And it's not like people my age. Like there's one my age, but there's two that are like 30. There's like a 45-year-old guy. There's like a 16-year-old. Like it's all different ages. They're from Germany and Italy and China and like England, and it's just everywhere. And I think that was like one of the like most awesome parts, just meeting everyone and getting immersed in all the different cultures too. And I think kind of coming back here, yeah, I've just like it's really shifted my perspective. Like when all you have to worry about during the day is like walking, eating, showering, and sleeping. And I think just going down to those basic necessities really kind of made me like realize like what's important to me and like helped me align my priorities, which I think was good because last year was definitely kind of a crazy freshman year and I kind of wasn't sure what I wanted to do and what was important to me. So I think coming back and doing the Camino, that really helped me kind of just realize like this is what's important to me. This is what I want to dedicate my time to, and so on.
Wonderful.
Wow.
So I just want to clarify, Henry and Lane did not do the Camino at the same time, correct? They weren't in the same group.
Correct.
Sorry,
Yeah,
both of our five brothers. I might have transposed names by accident.
yes. The whole thing with our program was that we wanted it to be as impactful as possible, and in order to do that was through solo travel. So none of our cohort really was much of a cohort in that sense, in terms of they all were just doing it on their own time, separately. But it's kind of cool in moments like these where you can hear everyone come together and see what they had that was similar and what that was different.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of the things I definitely want to do when we get to the end of your deck, I'm going to ask the brothers to all share camera so they can introduce you. So all of our Michigan brothers there can get a look at each other and we can put some faces to voices. But you want to go continue with your deck?
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks again, Henry, for sharing. That was amazing to hear. Yeah, this was just a slide I wanted to show just some of the things that Summit and Lane had said, in terms of what this program had done, I guess, in that sense. We wanted to be able to find a way to measure that impact, and again, see that change. And hearing Summit say that this is becoming the best possible version of myself, and also for the community back home. That's another key thing that we believe for our entire organization, is taking what you applied abroad and then bringing it back here, and making the best of it. And hearing Lane again talk about how this was one of the best and most fulfilling opportunities of his entire life to help him grow as like a person. That's why we want to do these things, and that's why we have we'll talk about it in a couple slides down, but we have plans for really wanting to take this all over, in terms of trying to change and help improve ourselves as Americans and as travelers in this world, as well as personally, and to grow from what we can learn from others that we realize aren't so different than us. Bradford, you could introduce our board here.
Yes, absolutely. So this year was really big because Lane, Henry, and Summit they went out and they trailblazed, and they were the first ones to do this on their own and show a proof of concept. And so I'm so proud of you guys for handling that opportunity with so much maturity and not quitting. Oh my gosh, it's not just important for you, but it's important for generations of students like the applicants we get this year to know that someone has done it before them. And it's important for us as an organization to keep doing what we're doing because now we have a board, and we were able to share your stories with them, and they've been a huge help helping us grow. And so they're helping us learn how to run as a nonprofit and reach new parts of the country that we may not have gotten to before. And it's Matt Delaney, Dana Hoff, and John Jones. They're our new board members, and they've been just such a huge help, even from the beginning with some brainstorming phase of organizing the organization. But especially now, I mean, they're on board to really help out, and they've been just so incredible with guidance. And so we're really excited for what the future holds, especially with their insights coming on board.
Absolutely. We have a huge kind of vision for how we want to take this thing. And I will admit, it's not easy because I think we started off just way too strong with something as awesome as the Camino because that one checks off a lot of the boxes in terms of creating a program that we want to see those results of something that's very well supported and something that's very you know visually and stunning in going through both villages and through countrysides. We think the Camino has it all in that sense, but we want to grow our program and we want to try to reach as many places as possible, and that includes Mount Athos in Greece, which is like this Greek Orthodox monastery that you can hike out to on an island that's actually there. Via Franca is one that's similar to that, or similar to the Camino in Italy. Monasteries such as the Tai Wang Monastery borders India and China. That's a major one that we would love to check out. St. Olave's Way, Norway, as well as just something as just truly adventurous as Patagonia. These are all places that throwing it out here, but these are ones that we want to check out, as well as ones that we don't have on this list. Anywhere that we think can make an impact on our adventurers that do this program, we'll gladly look at. And that's why looking to ahead, we want to be able to partner with more schools. We want to be able to partner with other organizations. We really want to grow this thing properly and succinctly. And what better way to do that than with schools and with again, just starting off with our fraternal organization that gave us the opportunity to do so. This thing I really want to see succeed from just the bottom up, from the schools, from the word of mouth, from people talking about this like you guys had done. And that's just something that we're excited to finally get kickstarted as well. Um, when it comes to fundraising structure, we were looking at all different options as well. Bradford and I, we were very lucky and able to be able to do this thing just from ourselves. But as we want to grow this thing, we want to be able to look out to different type of grants we can accommodate and secure, different types of donations we can garner. This is all be this will be the challenge, but it'll also be the joy of it all, and that's how we are able to reach these communities is by doing these active fundraising events. Because, and I know Bradford will say this too, is our overall goal really is we want to send like one adventurer from every state. That's the overall objective, to again lower that percentage of Americans that don't have a passport, get that 38% down. And we have to do that one year at a time, one step at a time. And so next year, that is our goal, is to send out 10 adventurers to do so. Bradford, anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think it's great. I think the world is the oyster. And if any of y'all have any ideas of places that are similar to the Camino, let us know. And we can start building a program for it for some students down the line. And yeah, like Will said, our goal next summer is to send out 10 students. So even more. So really, if you know someone who would benefit and has the maturity and the discipline and the desire to do it, please let them know. Especially other side U's, friends back home, people who haven't been abroad, but if you have done the Camino, you're a huge advocate of it, and you have the opportunity to recommend some people as well. So really, with the stage we're at now, the biggest ways to support are helping share our applications for next year. That's already open on our website. And the application process is very similar to this past year, but we want to get the best and the brightest and the most adventurous out there next year. And additionally, just any other ideas for trips that are beneficial and life changing and long form. And then finally, donations are appreciated to help us keep this sustainable. It's important for me and Will that every dollar goes straight into a grantee. And so we can say, hey, your $10 donation went to this night at a hostel, and we can account it in that way. And it really just is rewarding to be able to track it in that way. So yeah, that's where we're at now. And would love to pass it back to Will or open up the floor to any questions.
So is there, do y'all do rolling admission acceptance, or do you have like a class that starts in the spring? When are applications open?
Yeah, so applications are open currently right now.
No
And
way.
Yes, so they can go ahead and apply, and we'll have an application